And welcome back to the WHHI Daily News. Diabetes is the fastest growing chronic disease in America. And with us now, we're very honored to have the CEO of the American Diabetes Association with us. His name is Chuck Henderson. Chuck, let's just start right off the bat with some of the statistics of diabetes again and how it's growing in our country.
Yes, again, thank you for having me and allowing the American Diabetes Association to talk about all the work that we're doing as it relates to people living with diabetes and also living with obesity as well. And so nearly 1 in 2 Americans has diabetes or prediabetes, and that's 136 Americans living in the United States, which is almost half the population. And so we all know friends that are struggling right now to even afford insulin. Every 26 seconds, someone in the U.S. is diagnosed with diabetes. So from an American diabetes standpoint, our mission is to treat, prevent, and eventually find a cure and fight for all people living with diabetes.
So Chuck, as we educate folks about the different types of diabetes, there's type 1, type 2, and then gestational. Do you want to quickly review the difference between the three?
Absolutely. Great question. So when you have diabetes, your blood glucose, blood sugar levels rise too high. And specifically in type 1 diabetes, your immune system mistakenly destroys the beta cells in your pancreas that make insulin. And so eventually your body is no longer to make insulin on its own. And in type 2 diabetes, your body does not make enough insulin or does not use the insulin it does make well. And type 2 diabetes is the most common type of diabetes there is. And then gestational diabetes develops during pregnancy. And so your blood glucose levels may or may not return to normal after giving birth. And then even if they do return to normal, you have a high risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life and absolutely need to be tested regularly by your healthcare professional.
So Chuck, could you go into more detail about, particularly with type 2, how we can prevent developing type 2 diabetes?
Yeah, so I would say it's about lifestyle management. It's about walking. It's about getting out of the house. It's about, after you eat your dinner, walking a mile and a half. I mean, that's really all it takes to, lower your glucose levels. Watch what you put into your body. It's okay to do things in moderation. When you look at the food plate method, make sure you have more greens and more vegetables on your plate, versus other things that may be fatty, that may not be good. Have your fish, have your veggies, whatever diet you have, it's all about moderation.
Right. So what is the ADA, the American Diabetes Association, doing to kind of spread the word, educate folks, raise awareness about diabetes, particularly type 2, and how we can prevent and even be early screened for it?
Yeah, so I would say from an ADA standpoint, we have our free 60-second type 2 diabetes risk test where you can go online at diabetes.org/risk test. What that does is that allows you to discover your risk and encourage people to do the same. And if you find out that you have prediabetes, you can take steps to prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. And like I tell everybody, early detection is always key in the fight to avoid, any diabetes-related complications, whether it be heart, kidney, or eye-related diseases. And then, at our American diabetes.org website, we have healthy eating and lifestyle programs such as Project Power, which is a lifestyle change program for the whole family. We have an Ask the Expert series where you can ask questions, where you can hear from others that are facing similar experiences. And then again, we have resources on our diabetes.org website, tips, insights, recipes, and more to support people living with diabetes and their caregivers, which they also carry a burden as well on the diabetes journey.
Very good. We have about a minute left, but I really like this question. What is the ADA doing to further its vision of a world free of diabetes? Chuck?
Yeah, so I would say again, just to, recap, diabetes is an epidemic. So there are 3 things, that I want, your wonderful listeners to take away. First, it's important that people know the symptoms of diabetes and their risk. Then second, the American Diabetes Association has programs and resources available to support people in living well with diabetes and to prevent diabetes. And then finally, our fight to end diabetes is more urgent than ever, but we cannot do it alone. And so I encourage your listeners to spread the word, to encourage to join us in this fight. And they can visit diabetes.org/WeFight to learn more about diabetes and to access our programming and find ways to get involved with our wonderful association.
Thank you so much, Chuck Henderson, who's the CEO of the American Diabetes Association. Great to have you with us, sir. And we'll be right back with more WHHI News.